Scilly Stories, getting to know the people of Scilly.
Hi Kylie, how's your week?
Yeah, good. How are you?
Really well, thank you. Yeah, we're in your barn, aren't we, after doing art club?
Yeah, we've told all of the kids to just be quiet for 2 minutes whilst we quickly record this, haven't we? But yeah, this week we interviewed Neil Jenkins, didn't we?
Yeah,
most people on Scilly know who he is.
Yeah, he grew up on Bryher, didn't he? It's funny because he's a couple of years older than me, but I don't actually know him that well. I know Anna quite well through rowing, but I don't really know Neil. But he was so funny to talk to, and he was just a great storyteller, wasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Dave grew up with him and they were really good friends at school. So I've heard a lot of stories from Dave, but it was really nice just to hear it from him. And yeah, and all the other sides, you hear about all the funny, naughty things, but, his interests and...
What it was like growing up on Bryher and, being around his grandparents.
Yeah, I really liked hearing, the things that he loved, a little bit more kind of depth to him. It was really interesting.
Yeah, there was a bit where he asked about, or he told us about his house that burnt down when he was younger.
Yeah.
And then we sort of glossed over that in the interview, but we had to ask him afterwards, didn't we?
Yeah.
What actually happened? And I tracked him down the co-op the other day, where we see everyone.
Yeah, the meeting place.
And asked him what actually happened, and he said he remembers he was quite young, and he doesn't really know exactly what happened, but he thinks a curtain caught fire. They had a gas fire, and the curtain caught fire, and he remembers leaving the house and there being flames, and I think he said that his parents had friends staying, and he remembers his dad was out. It was really early in the morning. His dad was already out at work, and his dad's friends started shouting, "Get out, get out!" And they all had to rush out of the house, and his mum picked up his little baby brother, and he was following behind, trying to escape. And he's, it sounded really quite dramatic. I can't believe we didn't actually ask him.
Yeah, he kind of glossed over it, didn't he, in the interview?
Yeah, we didn't really ask him, did we? But yeah.
Must have been quite a massive thing on a small island like that.
Yeah.
I know, I think he did say afterwards that, a lot of people were so supportive, afterwards, didn't
he?
And
brought toys and things for them. Well, they had to rebuild the whole house, I think, didn't they?
How scary.
Yeah, so...
Anyway, I hope everyone enjoys the interview.
We start off by asking people what brought you to Scilly. So I'm guessing you were born on Scilly.
Just fate, I suppose. Yeah. Obviously, Bryher man originally, and family tree goes back to 1590 when we lived on Sampson.
1590?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think Martin's got the actual family tree.
Has he?
And it gets updated, like my kids are on it and so on. So, that's just the Jenkins name. I think I've heard a story. I don't know if it's true, but there was a shipwreck. I can't remember what it's called, and the only 2 survivors washed ashore on Sampson, and they were scared that the locals were cannibals, and they were throwing rocks at them to leave them alone. But obviously, they got rescued, and one of the names was Jenkins. So
that's how.
So whether, I mean, that isn't like set in stone story, but that's what I heard a few times. So whether that's how we got here, way back, I don't know. But I lived on Bryher till I was 24, until Jessie was born, so 18 years ago. So
And what was that like growing up on Bryher?
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
Were you wild a bit?
Not really wild, but we're just... Because, it's the same as St Mary's, but even safer. There's no cars, and it's so much smaller, so you just go out at first light, and you just come home when you're hungry. And that was, no one ever worried where you were. It's like, where's Neil and Liam? Oh, they'll be home when they're hungry. And sure enough, you come back at lunchtime normally around, and then off again. And we just used to play football, make dens. The dump was just loved the dump. We had a war with Ned and Dick and Rogers once when the Wales was being filmed, because we were all kids, we were all extras, and obviously Ned and Dick, and they liked our dump, and throwing bits of scrap metal at each other, and a big war over the dump. But it was just so free. It was just you know, because Mum left when we were quite young, and Dad had just had with Kathy and David, just had the Firethorn built, so they're in a lot of debt and working all hours, so we're just left to our own devices, and it's just fantastic. Yeah.
You just wouldn't see that now, would you? Like now, you have your kids, and you have to take a snack every hour. And, but we were absolute freedom.
Everyone on Bryher, we were just in each other's whichever house we were closest to was where we'd all go and have lunch there, or snack there, get a drink there, or go to the toilet there, whatever you've got to do when you're out. And that was just the way it was, know. And we were quite lucky when we lived on Bryher. There's the Dan clan, Jill's got 6 or 7. Dan Bennett, Mike Pender's brother Bill Pender used to live on Bryher still then, and he had 2 boys, Kit and Gren. They were sort of our age. Obviously got Colin and Martin, my 2 older brothers. They always had motorbikes going round, and it's just ace. It's just I loved it. I just wouldn't have changed anything about it.
And did you have, I know I was talking to Dave earlier, and he said your grandparents lived on Bryher too. Were you quite close with them?
Yeah, we used to, weekends, we used to sleep over at their house every weekend. Their little old asbestos house with an open fire. Yeah, we used to. Gran's house was like, Gran and Grandad's house, like an open house. There'd always be someone in there yakking. Gran was old school, always making buns, and Grandad had his shed just outside the house where he was always doing what he was doing, and Johnny Pender was always in there, and all the old locals used to go down there. And it's just a great place to be. You'd sort of go in there, sit around. If you like what they were talking about, you'd stay and listen. If you were bored, you just went off.
Go to the dump.
Go to the dump, nick a few buns. And my granddad loved Jaffa cakes. He always had an endless supply of Jaffa cakes, so he used to just nick the box of Jaffa cakes, and that was that. But yeah, Grandad was a huge part of my life, and my brothers would say the same as well. He was, because it was different, it's different now, I think, but grandparents used to play a lot. Grandparents are good, but I see it with ours, and Anna says, she used to spend all her weekends with her grandparents, but, it doesn't seem to happen quite so much anymore. I mean, life changes, doesn't it? But we used to love it down there, Grandma and Granddad. It's fantastic, yeah.
Dave's is the same about how they're just a massive part of your life. Your generation were the ones that really got all the benefits of that.
It was, yeah, and it was just, I don't know, maybe it's because we were on Bryher and it's so small, or maybe in Scilly in general it's like that. Maybe if you're on the mainland, you've got to drive.
Yeah.
30 seconds down the road was Gran and Grandad, so if you're in trouble at home, which is a lot, go down to Gran and Grandad, and then eat cakes and, profess your innocence to them. Because it's your Gran and Grandad, they spoil you, don't they?
Yeah.
So it's fantastic. But
what did your granddad do? Was he?
So fishing and farming, and then he started Bryher Boats off with David originally.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, and then Dad obviously came into it, and Kathy, and then Grandad sort of phased out of it and went back fishing.
Yeah.
So he's what got me into fishing, really. Grandad used to
Did you go fishing with him?
Yeah, he used to do it all weekends. He used to keep me off school sometimes. He used to love it. Yeah, absolutely loved it. Yeah. So and we, that was sort of, I had no real plan when I left school. Really, I hated school. I hated every minute of school. I just wanted to be out doing something, and then. Unfortunately, Grandad died the year I left school, so I was a bit of a loose end, because I just thought I'd go fishing with Grandad, really. But probably a good job I didn't, because we never used to catch him. It was always one drama after the other, but it was excellent. It was an excellent upbringing.
It's quite common, isn't it? Like you're saying, your granddad was a fisherman, farmer, boatman. That's really common, especially on the off islands, isn't it? To wear all those hats.
Back then as well. If you go back to the 40s and 50s, you have to survive. It probably wasn't like a business as such. It was probably you grow your spuds for the winter and fish in the summer and all that. It's what you do, isn't it? It's just old school life, like homesteading almost, isn't it? Type thing. But it was brilliant. I mean, my granddad could do anything. He's good with wood, metal, could mend boats, build, but he wasn't a boat builder, but he'd build little skiffs and punts for us, all the boys, little models and stuff. He was just ace. So, you know, that generation were good at everything, though, weren't they?
That's amazing, the skills,
Yeah.
I think, like you say, it must just be survival. You know, it's not like, oh, our hobbies are this, and this. It's like, we need to grow food to eat, we need to catch food to eat, we need to...
And back then, there's less rules. You just went, my granddad would have just gone to work at an early age with his father, and my dad to the same extent. You've got to be handy on the farm. You've got a farm, everyone mucks in, don't they? What's got to be done, it's got to be done. So, yeah, I think that's where it comes from. But it's a nice way of life.
Yeah, it's amazing. It kind of still exists almost now, but it's just quite watered down, isn't it, Scilly?
Yeah, it's still there, but I think people now, because things went through a boom, didn't they? Like the flowers, and then the fishing took off a little bit, and then the tourism came in, so you could almost focus on one thing, couldn't you? If you were into the boating, there's good money to be there, and the flowers then were big money, weren't they? And the fishing was taking off, so you could probably afford to buy your potatoes or whatever, or buy your fish if that's what you like. So I don't know, just evolution. Times change, don't they? Yeah. The world progresses. Yeah. Sort of.
A little bit.
Some things are better.
Backwards, some forwards, some backwards. Yeah. Did you work from a farm? Didn't you?
Yeah. It's still the best job I ever had. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I absolutely love farming.
Which one? Where did you work?
On Tresco Estate.
Oh yeah.
So it's just after my granddad died. It was a bit of a loose end, really. I'd sort of skipped out the last year of college because I was just over it. But I didn't really. I had no skills. I had no. I was a bit of a wet drip back then, if I look back. And I credit everything to Paul Christopher, who ran the farm. He took me on, and he just changed me from a little boy into a man, and what it takes to, I always wanted to work, but when I wanted to work when I was young, I didn't have the skills to work, or the attitude, and Paul Christopher gave me that, and I just loved it. I hated picking flowers. I hated that, but Tresco is a big cattle farm as well. Yeah. So we had 140 head of cattle, and I wasn't there very long, and I realised whoever worked the hardest and picked the most flowers got rewarded by going off and doing the cattle jobs.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I noticed it from the first weeks with Paul. If you were working hard in the field picking, you'd be rewarded to go off to feed the cows or move the cows or do a nicer job. So I got my head down then, and then I was only there and I had no farming background or anything, but I was there for 12 months, and at the time Patrick Euler was like assistant farm manager, and he left, and I thought nothing of it, and Paul just said to me in the field one day, do you fancy stepping up to sort of be my right hand man and taking over from Patrick? And I was like, well, I don't really know what I'm doing. He said, well, you can learn on the job and whatnot. And I absolutely love farming.
Really?
If I didn't fish, I would farm. But I probably wouldn't farm in Scilly because I love the machinery.
Did you?
I love the harvesters and the lifters, and I just like the idea that someone's looked at a real back-breaking job and gone, I can make a machine do that, and then built this. Not most of them were death traps back in the day, but they've all progressed. I absolutely love it. Yeah, I still think now maybe when the fishing gets a bit tough, a bit older, I'd just try and get a job like contract farming or something. Like making silage and hay and all the cattle. I absolutely loved it. It's just the best time ever.
How long were you there?
I did 7 or 8 years, I think. I left because I was always sort of the succession plan of Bryher Boats was sort of me and James to be the next Dad and David, which I was kind of into, but I did the boats for Dad got ill, so I got sort of, they asked me to finish on the farm, but I didn't want to finish, so I did another year on the farm and then left. And I do love it. I love the boats, but I didn't love passenger boating. It wasn't for me. I think of myself as a bit of a people person, but it was too much. It's just too much.
Too people-y.
Yeah, it was too much, and I like just doing what I want to do when I want to do it.
Yeah.
And the boats, especially Bryher boats at the time, was flying. The jet boats built. And we're doing I don't mind long hours, but we're just like, the evening trips used to wear me down. You sort of had a trip at 6, a trip at 8, a trip at 10. And that's your whole evening ruined. You can't really go and do anything. And it's
just work.
Yeah, I'd rather just work till I finished. But so I did that. I can't remember how long I boated for. It was quite a while, but it was all getting a bit. I felt a bit of pressure that I should stay because of the family connection and all that. And then one summer I just had enough, and it was all getting too much. I was probably not being the best employee I could be. And I just said to James that this isn't working. I'll finish in October. I'll finish.
Yeah.
And I was desperate to get back into the fishing.
Really?
Yeah, because I'd done a few days with Barry and his dad, and it just reminded me of my childhood with Grandad and how much I loved the fishing. And I was just desperate to get back into that.
Yeah.
And that's where I ended up.
Like nostalgic almost.
Yeah.
Like it's calling you or something.
When I fished with Grandad, it was never ever. I loved it, but it was never ever put to me of a way of making a living. My granddad never pushed it. My dad certainly never sort of encouraged me. He didn't actively tell me not to do it, but there was just no encouragement to do it. So you just thought, maybe it's not the done thing, and there weren't many fishermen on Bryher. Like Bryher's thriving now with Island Fish and everything, but there was nothing like that. It's my granddad and Johnny Pender, who were sort of old men really, part-time fishing, so you couldn't see that there is a career is probably the wrong word, but a future in it. So I just wandered away from it. But I did one day with Barry when I was boating. It nearly killed me, but I just remembered I loved. Why aren't I doing this?
Yeah.
And then I was just biding my time to try and get a job fishing, which. I didn't want to move away. I didn't want to move away and fish. I could have just done that easy. I wanted to fish here, but I didn't have the knowledge to do it on my own.
Yeah.
All the money to buy a boat and the gear and everything. I was just sort of hoping an opportunity would come up, and fortunately for me, not so for obviously Dwayne worked with Barry for lots of years, and Dwayne was ill and he didn't feel he could do it anymore, and the timing was just right. Dwayne finished and Barry offered me a job, and I went straight in there. Yeah, never looked back. So,
just going back to Bryher boats, what's that story of when the Firephone came over? I think I remember your dad telling me this. That was a storm or something.
Oh, when it first came.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I should know the date. I think we've got a photo of it somewhere. I don't know where it is. It was 1991 July.
Yeah.
And they set off from Weybridge where she was built. I was still at school.
Yeah.
I remember at the sports day down at the old Carnarvon multi-sports day, we used to call it.
Multi-sports.
That's down there, yeah. And I really didn't want to be there because, I love my sport, but I just wanted to see this boat. The Firephone was the first of the new age passenger boats. And obviously Dad and David's pride and joy. But then with Scilly is naysayer central. It'll never work. It's too big. What they bring that, but I just couldn't wait to see it. But so I went down to sports day, and it was a beautiful sunny day in the morning, and then in the afternoon it clouded over, and it was like torrential rain and a massive lightning storm, like huge. Dad and David said, I think it's David said he spoke to the Salonian. And they said the visibility was 0 because of the rain and everything.
Really?
Yeah, but I still couldn't wait. And we went back to Bryher. Filled up all the other passenger boats and went out to meet it. And it's fantastic. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. No, it's a big party.
Yeah.
My dad got so drunk he fell over.
He was quite a character, your dad, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was a star. Yeah.
Yeah.
But with all the naysayers, the first day the Firephone was in service, everyone was, it's too big, it'll never work. And the next day, when they put it into service, it was blowing like a southerly gale.
Yeah.
And no one's used to driving it, and no one really wanted to do it. My dad tried to back it out of St Mary's Quay, and the wind caught the bow and it hit the Sirenian, put a massive dent in it. Everyone's on the quay. I knew that was, And the dad had to wear that one, but it was fantastic. I remember everyone was just amazed by the size of this boat, but it's just everyone cottoned on then, and now they're all there's a few left, isn't there? But they're all. But that boat there, that's a Commodore. That's what the Firethorn replaced.
Oh yeah.
So she would have been like the size of, like the Guiding Star, that sort of boat. Sea King.
Yeah.
Big long boat, 100 people.
Yeah.
Used to love spending summers on that. It was a wreck. David and Dad used to say, you'd worry all the time because the pumps were going. So you'd worry if the pumps were going, but you'd worry even more when they weren't pumping because you're thinking,
oh, it's gone over.
Have they broken? Because if they're broken, we're going to sink.
Oh gosh.
But so they replaced that with a Firethorn. It was a big thing, 1991.
Yeah.
And I think inflation was like 14% on the loan, and big thing.
Yeah. It's quite a spectacle, isn't it, when someone's kind of like forward thinking and brings something like that to an island.
Yeah, I think it's everywhere. It's a small community, and then people cotton on, don't they? And they need it doing. I mean, I think Dad and David were told at the time by the MCA the wooden boats would be out of service in 5 years anyway.
Really?
So they were sort of hurried into it, but then you look, the little ones are still going. So But the Commodore was knackered. It needed replacing. And especially, because Bryher boats service Tresco, a bit of a higher end market, and Tresco was growing and growing and growing. I think it just needed to be done, really.
Yeah, they had to be seen, I guess.
Yeah. I was only 11 then, so, it was just exciting for me.
Yeah.
Loved it.
You did a lot of sport when you were younger, didn't you? Yeah. What did you all play on the off islands, like football?
Well, football was my passion. I love football. Really? And me and Dave and Russ just play football. And then we had it on Bryher, so we used to, in the Easter holidays and summer holidays, we'd just be at the campsite all the time, going around all the holiday homes, knocking the kids that want to play football. We used to have these epic Islanders versus visitors football matches from when we were kids. Yeah, it was really good. And then lots of people ended up rebooking their holidays around the footy matches because their kids loved it so much, and it was really good. So that, and then as you get older, football was moved down here, but cricket and rowing obviously were my two summer.
Was rowing a big thing on Bryher?
Rowing was huge because, like, when I was growing up, sort of 13, 14, the Tsar crew were they were the boys, and you wanted to row in the Tsar, and you used to watch every Friday. But it's different now. Obviously, our club's fantastic with all the youngsters, but back then there was no youngster rowing. You just waited until someone died or didn't want to do it anymore, and then you just get told by like big man with a beard, right, you're rowing on Friday or Monday for the practice. And there was
on for dear life.
Yeah, there was no technical training. I remember my first row with the Tsar crew, and they were a really good crew, and they're like, you waited for this opportunity, chucked in the bow, and the first row was round Bryher, and they used to have these massive oars. No guidance, just the only thing you were told was pull harder. That was the only technical advice, pull harder. So, but rowing back then, sounds like an old man now, but I think it was better because you're either like, Tresco and Bryher was the Tsar, and the Shah and the Dolphin and the off island, and they would all have their moments, and then there was the Eagle and the Bonnet with the top. And you wouldn't, as a Tsar, you would not row the Bonnet. The Bonnet was like, hate the Bonnet. And then the Eagle, maybe you could row if you moved to St Mary's. So when I moved to St Mary's, all my best mates, Chuffer, Nick George, Nathan, all rowed the Bonnet. And we rowed the Bonnet with us. I'm not rowing the Bonnet. And just not being a bonnet boy, you're brought up on Tresco and Bryher to beat the Bonnet. That's the thing. So I rode in the Eagle when I moved to St Mary's against my mates. Yeah,
you stuck to your gig.
And the way it used to be, so the Eagle on St Mary's, Eagle and the Bonnet would be set, and then they would. If someone was doing well in one of the other crew, the Norn or the Sreaker or whatever, if someone left that crew, they would then get promoted up.
Yeah.
And it was you were really proud of being whichever gig you represented, you really, Tresco and Bryher, we were lucky because you had the Men of War. So you started in the Men of War, and then the Tsar crew were the top crew, and then if they were short, they would pick one of you out of the Men of War to go and row with them. And I thought it was a really good way, and it's just, it's all friendly rivalry, but it was really, really good.
A lot more pride.
Yeah, I mean, it was, because like Jimmy Johnson, James Terry, Pete Hicks, they were the bonnet.
Yeah.
I won't say what comes next, but they were the bonnet. And then the Eagles like Martin Douglas and all that sort of gang, and you really wanted to beat them, and then out of nowhere the Shah would come with like Kit and Rick Leg in it, and they'd win a race out of nowhere. It's fantastic. But I think winning from the off islands in the gigs was like a real big thing, because you've got a small catchment area and you just have those couple of years where everyone would gel and click and you're winning for the off islands. I think it's really good.
Yeah.
I still think that now. I can't believe how many crews the off islands put out.
Yeah.
That's 3 crews.
Yeah, like St Agnes is shit. I mean, they must have every person on the island that can row is rowing. Surely at the moment.
That's how it
There's
feels.
3 crews out.
Yeah.
It goes inside. So when I started on Tresco and Bryher, the Men of War was actually loaned to St Martin's, because they had 2 crews, and they, we couldn't fill 2 boats, and they could, so they had the Men of War. But then as I started rowing, we had enough to fill the Men of War, so we took the Men of War back, and then St Martin's got the Gartier built for their extra crews, and it was really, the men's rowing was like the women's rowing over here. So women's rowing over here is massive now, isn't it?
Yeah.
What is it, 14 gigs on a Wednesday night or whatever?
Many, isn't it?
But that's what it was like on the men's then, and St Agnes ended up borrowing the Lioness, didn't they, to make up now? Oh, it's fantastic, yeah.
Yeah. I guess, like you say, it goes in like ebbs and flows, doesn't it?
Yeah. And one of the best years I had, it was when I'd been away for a winter, so the Tsar was full, and there was a few of me, Ryan Allsop, John Jenkins, they were all living on St Martin's, and they were short for the Dolphin, so I jumped in the Dolphin, and we had such a good year. I think we won the first trophy for St Martin's for something like 25 years or so.
Cool.
And it was epic. The Voyager was coming out full, and we used to go back to St Martin's, you're like heroes up there.
Yeah.
So it was really good.
Because the visitor boats used to be a lot.
Yeah.
It used to be a big thing back then, didn't it? Like lots of.
Yeah, I don't know where that's gone. It's easy to point at prices, isn't it? And say it's too expensive, which it's not so too expensive. You've got to charge to make money, haven't you? But for a family of 4, it probably costs.
It's expensive to go out.
I don't know. I don't know what it costs, but it's probably a lot of money.
Yeah.
But back then, it was you used to have 7 or 8 St Mary's boats out. Quite often, we'd have 2 of our boats out from Bryher.
Really.
And Tresco, the Voyager would be full. The St Agnes boat would be full.
Yeah.
It was really good back then, especially Old Wreck. Old Wreck race that would bring out every boat that way.
I mean, that still does bring out people,
doesn't
it? It is like a, prestigious race, I guess. Yeah.
I was going to say, you were talking about moving over to St Mary's. What were the differences between that and Bryher?
Not a lot. Don't know what the difference is. Just everything's a bit easier on St Mary's. Obviously you've got the co-op and things like that. And if you're I was playing a lot of football then on the Sunday mornings and stuff, and in the winter trying to get a boat down to get to football on St Mary's with the tide as well. Sometimes you'd be gone all of Sunday just to play 90 minutes of football. So things like that were a lot easier coming to St Mary's. Seeing your friends, all my friends were, my closest friends were all on St Mary's, so it's easier to go and see them, go from beer and all that. And that was the biggest difference. Obviously on Bryher we used to drink at the New Inn, and you have to get a row home or get a punt and outboard home.
The Fraggle wasn't open then?
Fraggle was open, but it was never. New Inn was the place to be back then. It was really good. All the cricket team was based there, the rowing club was based there. Tresco always had that influx of staff. It was just excellent. So you're just over there, trying to get yourself back without drowning on a Friday night. So, I don't know how I'm still here, to be honest. But there's some right mishaps along the way. But yeah, that's the biggest difference. But I could move back to Bryher. It wouldn't bother me from it. But just sort of the time. Anna's obviously a St Mary's girl, and you know, our girls were young now. I just thought it'd be better all round if we lived on St Mary's, and especially if I wanted to get into the fishing, which is what I wanted to do, I thought that'd be easier from St Mary's as well. So
I think Bryher is the most affected, isn't it, by tides and things, isn't it?
Yeah. Bryher in the winter, if you've got a big spring tide, you're from 10 o'clock till 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it's just inaccessible.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, I think Anna lived on Bryher with me for a couple of years, 2 or 3 years. I think she found it quite hard at times. Just want to pop down and see your mum or whatever. And it's, you can't till 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
And then because it's the winter, the weather's bad, so you can't anyway. So it's just a bit easier on St Mary's.
Yeah,
so,
then especially, like you say, Anna's got the place, hasn't she? How did you and Anna meet? Obviously, you both grew up here.
Obviously, I knew Anna's a bit older than me, so I knew she was at school and everything, but I never really knew her at all. But she went to school with Dan Bennett from Bryher, and they got on great guns, and me and Dan were our great mates, and we used to hang out a lot, and then Anna was always travelling and back and forth from the islands, and it was me and Dan were coming down for a few beers to watch the England football match actually, and he said, Anna's going to join us. We just got chatting then, and that was in October, I think. She went, no, I remember this. And then I think she went away for the winter, and then the start of the next summer, we'd been training on Tresco. We just had the Emperor built for the gig for the World Champs. I think that's 2002, 2003. We'd been training all winter, and then so we hadn't drunk for we weren't supposed to drink for 2 months. And then obviously after gig weekend, on the Sunday, do you remember they used to do the big fire down the gig sheds and everything? Yeah. And we were all down there and just got chatting to her then, and sort of went from there really, sort of courted for the summer. Yeah. And then she went off again that winter to Australia.
Did you went
in New Zealand? Yeah, I was so lovesick. I went and met her in New Zealand. But Dan was with her as well, actually. She planned to go travelling for the winter with her sister Vicky and Dan Bennett.
Yeah.
And Dan had been nagging me all summer, come with us.
Yeah.
I was going to, but because I do too much, I spent all my money. So I couldn't afford to go to Australia, so I had to work as hard as I could from October. I worked with Simon's Construction building Hell Bay, the new Hell Bay, doing 12-hour days, 7 days a week to get enough money to go to New Zealand for a couple of months in the new year. So, and then that was that really. Yeah. That's how we met. Yeah. And I still regrets it.
Surely not. Two beautiful girls.
Well, something good comes of everything, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I was going to ask, what do you think the future of Scilly looks like? This is a bit of a funny question, I know, but...
I don't know. I always worry about the future of Scilly or future in general, because the world's just all over the place at the moment, isn't it? In every aspect. And I worry for the farming and the fishing a lot with... don't want to get political or anything, but the government's not particularly on the side of farming and fishing at the moment. Plus, it's a hard way to make a living. It's getting harder and harder. I was looking at the fishing news, weekly newspaper. Anna's dad had one from 1985, and at the back there's always a page with fish prices, and they're exactly the same in 1985 as they are now.
Really?
Pretty much to a pound. Gosh. But fuel's gone up, bait's gone up, everything's gone up. So, and I hate it when young locals leave Scilly. I hate it. Yeah. I love it when I hear they're moving back. Yeah. It's because they sometimes do. Because I do worry about the community's the best thing about Scilly, in my opinion. And I just, when I was a kid, I didn't know everyone, but I knew who everyone was and what they did. Every car that went past, I knew who was in it, what their job was, But now I go past people, I haven't got a clue who they are. Yeah. I don't know where they work, do they live here, I don't know anything about it. And that, maybe it's because I spend most of my time at sea, but, I worry for that aspect, because but people have got to leave, because housing is a big issue, isn't it? Getting, people can't wait around forever, can they, to just be housed or whatever, so they leave, then people come in, and then the price of housing's going up, isn't it? So maybe only holiday homes and stuff like that. But I don't know. I think in the end, Scilly will be fine because the core of people, or the type of people it attracts, and the type of people that can stay and live here, I think will always be the same.
Yeah.
And there'll always be that local.
Yeah.
I hope anyway. But
I like, from an kind of an outsider looking in, I always think that the people that stay on Scilly are the ones that really, really love it. Because like you say, it's tricky for housing, so you have to really want to stay to be here. And I think like that kind of does
do
show.
your time in the shed and all that sort of stuff, and staff accommodation, and and I like different people moving here. I like, it's good because Scilly would be stagnant if it was just all the same generations, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
And, my mum's from Manchester, so you need that sort of influx of people, but
for the gene pool too.
But people, I've got 6 toes. Like, I think you need that core of locals, but you need a little. But the people that come in have got to contribute. They can't just come here for a job and do that job and not contribute to the islands, if you know what I mean. And people that move here and moan that there's no Tesco's and I can't. I've got no time for those people. Go back. You can have all that.
Yeah.
You can live in a little village, like move to Cadgwith and drive to Tesco's and Helston if that's what you want. Having no food on the shelves for 5 days. It's just part of living here, isn't it?
Yeah.
And if you've grown up with it, or if you move here and you really love it here, that's just the way it is, isn't it? You just
almost like embracing the hardship.
Yeah.
You can't have the best of everything.
Yeah.
You?
And I think if we're born here, you're used to it. It's just the way. When I was on, I didn't think we had electricity on Bryher till I was 6 or 7.
Really?
Yeah. So
isn't that funny? Thinking your lifetime.
Yeah. We had generators, so but because of the fuel, you wouldn't have to. Dad was too tight to run it all the time, so you'd have electricity for breakfast time and tea time, and maybe a couple of hours in the evening, and then it was generator off, and it was all candles and stuff like that. So you imagine if it was like that now. Half these people wouldn't put up with that, would they? So,
in my romantic vision, I just love the sound of that. But then I
think
guess
the reality is probably
it's very different.
And these weren't nice new generators. These have been on the island for 40 years, so they're always broken down, and then your weekends are spent trying to mend this generator with your dad, getting angry at you and stuff like that. So it's not that romantic.
What did you use in the fridge? Did you just have a fridge?
I think the fridge would run while the generator's on, and then
you just was like,
open the door quick, and throw it shut. But we were I don't know what we refrigerated back then, because Mike and Rosie had goats, so I was brought up on goat's milk.
Really?
I can't stand it now, but that's all we ever had. You used to go down Mike and Rosie's house every morning and get a pint of goat's milk. So that never really used to go in the fridge. You'd use it all in a day. So, but I mean, that's how I see Scilly. People have got to come here. You've got to have that rotation of people, and I welcome people here, but they've just got to buy into it. I think, really. What
do you think it takes to be a good community member? What do you have to do?
I think you've got to contribute somehow to the volunteering, do the rowing club, all this sort of thing. Or if you can't volunteer your time, you've got to be there for other Solonians, because everyone helps each other out, don't they? So if you're at a loose end for a week and your mate down the road is struggling building his house with his farm, he's got too many flowers or whatever, and you've got a free week, you just go down and tuck in, and that kind of mentality really, I think, is a big help to Scilly.
It's kind of inbuilt in you guys, the ones that you're born here, it's just totally inbuilt in you, isn't it? Just and
I think anywhere remote's like that. If you go down Cadgwith and little coves like that around Cornwall, they all, we're all bicker at each other. But then when something needs doing, there's 20 people there to help. When I scat a rock with my fishing boat a couple of years ago, I had to pull it up. It's a big boat to pull up here. Ryan gave me his trailer. Andy's there with his tractor. Ollie and Archie will get that done this week. Drop everything. That's the kind of thing you need to live here. I think, and then give it back. If you're helped out, make sure you're there helping.
What do you think is the hardest thing about living in Scilly?
I don't know. I'd have to look at it from. I don't find anything hard about living in Scilly, really. I mean, there's obviously the usual moans out. If you want to go away, it costs more money, doesn't it? Because you got the cost of getting off the island. It's like paying for 2 holidays, isn't it, and all that, and the time delays and all that. But again, if you live it, that's just used to it. I think you just know if you're going on holiday that more than likely it's going to be windy or foggy on the day you want to go. It's just Anna's cursed. I travelled without Anna. I was like 30 years without being fog, not one day of fog, and then whenever I go in with Anna, we're 3 days late.
I remember when we all went away on holiday, it was like the storm of the century. Like, we ended up having to go away about a week before we actually left the country.
It just costs more money, doesn't it? But other than that, I could see why people who move here would find it hard, especially if you're moving away from family. They can't see you can't see them, especially if you've got little kids and all that. It must be tough, to move here. It must be. But if it's all you know, it's not that hard, really, is it? It's just what it is, basically.
Yeah. And there's one story that I want to hear that Anna said as we came down on the way in, which was when you were younger. Your dad hung you up in dungarees.
Oh, yeah.
I just wanted to hear that before we went.
Yeah, so our first house on Bryher actually burnt down when we were little, and Dad rebuilt it, and he had this. It sounds a lot grander than it is. So it had these like double doors that went into a sort of kitchen diner area, and Dad was a bit alternative. Me and Liam were quite a handful, so if we were being too much, he had a piece of string between these double doors, and we were always wearing dungarees.
Yeah.
And if we were being a pain, he'd thread it through the back of our dungarees, and we'd just be hung up in the door. And it's just an own thing, like people would come round for a cup of tea, and it's like like you're walking through the washroom, like push through, all right there, and then we'd just hang there. It's just, it was always, Dad was unconventional, but it worked.
Yeah.
If he'd had enough of us tearing around that we were hung in the door for. And it wasn't for long. We weren't up there for days. Just an hour at a time.
Have you got any other stories about your dad or your granddad?
Dad's stories are endless, I think. He was a character, really. Nothing jumps to mind. They'll all come to me at some point, but if there was any mischief going on or trouble or anything, Dad was normally at the centre of something to do with it. Winding people up was his speciality. But
you're a bit like that though, aren't you? Really?
I'm morphing into my dad. I try and fight, but I sent my brother lives in Australia now, I sent him a voice note the other day. We don't speak to each other a lot, me and Liam, just because it's not we don't get on, it's just a silly way, but my dad used to do this really annoying thing where he sort of tuts, like he does like a double tut, like. And I was driving along the other day, caught myself there. Oh my God, I was like, Liam, I'm doomed. Caught myself doing the double tut, and he was like, you've had it. Yeah, Dad was great. Dad was so busy when we were young, Dad. I always felt for my dad because he had Colin and Martin, and then he met my mum, and he's always been quite open about it. He didn't particularly want another family.
Yeah.
And he ended up with me and Liam, and then my mum left, so he was really left with me and Liam. But he was a great dad. He was a fantastic dad, but he was busy.
Yeah.
And I think he was always there for us. I haven't got bad words to say to Dad, but he didn't sacrifice what he wanted to do for us, if you know what I mean. And I don't begrudge that at all. It's not a complaint. He still went clay shooting. He still went to the pub. Still did his weekends away.
Yeah.
He worked hard. But if we ever needed anything, he was there for us. He was fantastic. But I think he felt he'd done his time with Colin and Martin, and he wanted his life, which is fine. I've got no problem with it. But I honestly wouldn't change a thing about being brought up by Dad. All of the. We were just brought up on pasties of bacon because he was out working, and he'd buy like a box of 1,000 pasties off Cash Sheriff and put them in the freezer, and a massive slab of bacon, and away you go. If you want to cook anything else, carry on, but that's what I've got. But it's like, all right, fair enough.
He taught me how to shoot, your dad.
Yeah, he was a good shot.
Yeah, really good.
He got asked to coach someone who shoots for England.
Really?
Yeah, because he used to go to this, I think they still go to Ilfracombe somewhere doing the shooting. And Dad was one of the only, I think it's obviously what you hit over 100 club.
Yeah.
Dad was in this over 100 club, and they asked him to do a. He was a really good teacher, Dad. He taught James Sedderford to shoot.
Yeah.
He was a good shot. And my brother Martin.
Yeah.
You know. And Liam was a good shot. Liam did.
Really?
I did a bit of it, but it was always Sunday morning, which was football, and Thursday evening, which was cricket.
Oh yeah.
And I always said I'd be able to shoot when I'm old and I can't run. So I thought I'll do that later in life, but I haven't got round to it yet. I can't run anymore. But now you can't get a gun licence, I don't think, very easily. So I haven't really got into it. But Dad always took more play. He always used to win every week over here, pretty much.
Yeah.
Except for Martin or James or Liam would beat him. And he said he didn't mind being beaten by them because he taught them. So it was okay to be beaten by them. But yeah, Dad would go off on a Sunday, clay shooting wherever, and then he'd come back at like 2:30 or 3 in the afternoon, completely sozzled. And he used to lie, and we'd have an Arga, and he'd just collapse in front of the Arga, and he'd lie there till like 8 o'clock, and he'd stagger up and go to bed.
With his gun.
Yeah. But yeah, all in his shooting gear, guns were, I mean, me and Liam used to get shot for it now, or arrested for it. I used to nick his guns because laws were a lot lax back then. So if he was at work and we were bored, we'd be in the garden with the trap and the clays, firing the gun out of the garden and stuff. It was,
I think Dave's got a story about being over there and he'd nicked his gun and then he found out and he came out and what are you doing?
Yeah, well, I think Dave thought he was going to shoot him once because we were young, and I think it might have been James's 21st, but we were only sort of 14 or 15, and we were nicking cans and got a bit drunk and we were a bit noisy when we got home. So Dad was not very happy, but Dad, believe it or not, was into his gardening, and he built a fish pond with a waterfall feature in the garden, and they had goldfish, and the gulls used to nick the goldfish, so he used to shoot the gulls. So he's got me and Dave, and I think Russell, lined up for a dressing down, and when we were getting told off by Dad, it was you knew about it, and he was giving us a proper, and Dave was sat in his chair by a window, and at the end of it, okay, get the gun. And I was like, all right, so I got the gun. How many shots do you like? 1. And he's walking towards Dave, like loading his shotgun, and Dave was like backing up the chair, and he leant over and shot this black back up the sky. Then looks at Dave and goes, "Go put that in the bin, will you?" Jeff was gone.
Like scared.
But, he was. I think all the boys used to like coming up to stay with Dad.
Yeah, Dave talks really hard.
Yeah, they used to. They used to like. I was always in trouble, so they used to like watching me get. Because I'd be full of it at school all week, and then they come up to Bryher, watch me get dressed down for a weekend, firmly back in my place.
Oh gosh. A lot of Scillians, like everyone we've spoken to so far, it's so common, like fishing, farming, boating, shooting.
Yeah.
Like rough shooting is just seems to be what everyone did, and I think from what we've discovered, it's like everyone used to shoot because they used to shoot rabbit to eat. Yeah. And it's just like kind of rolled on from that, really.
That was one thing I noticed when I moved to St Mary's. So the sort of game shooting and the rabbit shooting wasn't as big as on Bryher and not Tresco so much, but Bryher and St Martin's. I know you'd be like the weekend, you'd have like 7 or 8 people out with the gun. It's like. Yeah. Like being in a war zone up there, no one got shot. But
yeah, my dad talked about it being really nice, like multi-generational thing. You'd go out with your dad, and dad, and everyone would be together.
Yeah.
Maybe Mixie might have put a bit of stuff to it.
That was it. He said when Mixie came over here, it like stopped people.
But I thought about the pheasants, and because we never used to shoot rabbits on Bryher. We'd never had any really, so it was always woodcock and pheasant. But it was a family. My dad, my brother. And then me and Liam traipsing along, moaning probably. And then the dogs, obviously, and then you'd have Richard Jenkins would be out shooting, and Mark Pender. And it was a real big thing on the Off Islands, Used to really look forward to it.
Yeah. There's not that much rough shooting on St Mary's now.
No, I don't know who. I know Fraser does a bit, doesn't he? I think
Ralph does a bit.
Ralph, John Jenkins does a bit.
Yeah,
but,
not lots.
I mean, on Bryher on a Saturday afternoon in November, you think, have I gone back on the Somme? Or like, what's going on here? Like, it's crazy. But yeah, no. But then some of those old traditions die out, don't they? You know,
Yeah.
I think again maybe I don't know, different. You know, Bryher's, different people live there. Maybe they're not used to people going around with guns, and then people start complaining, and then is it worth the hassle and all that? And things
Like you
just
said, it's
die
hard
out.
to get a licence now, isn't it?
Yeah, because I haven't actually looked into it because I'm lazy. I wanted to start play shooting, and then someone said, "Oh, getting a gun licence now is a nightmare." So that was enough for me to go, "I'm not going to do that." I'll just watch football instead.
Is there any more questions that you want to ask? Any stories we've missed out that you've got?
Not that I can tell.
I mean, you've got loads of stories now, we know. But...
No, not really. I've probably very lucky to have been brought up with my dad and my brothers, and I've always worked and it's always been about just wind-ups and that sort of from
just having fun.
fishing and lifeboating and all that. It's all just you can be serious when you got to be serious. But
how long were you on the lifeboat for?
I think it was 12 years. I think.
Wow, 12 years.
Yeah. 12 years, got too busy for it at the end, really.
It's a hard one when you're fishing because you're off so much.
Yeah, I was coming in and like practice nights, not even having any tea, and then you leave here at sort of 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Come home, literally just get shower changed so you don't make everyone sick on the lifeboat. Go down, go there, do that till 8:30, get home at 9, eat, and then just go straight to bed. Get up for the next day. It's just. And a couple of shouts were just, a bit of a waste of time, and I missed days at sea, and then obviously that's lost income, but then it cost me, it cost Joel.
Yeah.
So you've got to think about everything, and I really loved it. I had a great time, but it was just time for me to let someone else do it, really, because I was becoming one of the people that I hate moaning, and I was turning into a moaner. So I thought, right, it's time to go. It's time to go. So. Yeah, it was COVID actually. We didn't do anything through COVID, no practicing or anything. And then when COVID sort of passed and we were all getting back to normal, the thought of just having to come in from sea and go like us. And obviously COVID hit everyone pretty hard, didn't it, as a business wise, so I couldn't afford to miss any days fishing then, unfortunately. So that was that. End of it.
I think the last thing we just like to ask people, and I think you did touch on it earlier, about community, but it's just what do you think the best thing about living in Scilly is?
Everyone helps everyone out, even if not everyone gets on, but when the chips are down, everyone will be there. Yeah. I think that's just priceless. I think I'm sure you get it in other places. I'm sure of it, but everyone will be.
Yeah.
I've had it loads of times. I remember when our first house burnt down, we were just inundated with toys. Me and my little brother only little, but just little things like that. It's just got given someone gave up their holiday let for us to live in while a house was being built. Just things like that. It's happened. You see it all the time through Scilly.
Yeah.
Money's just it's not part of the equation. It's just let's get this sorted and then. Yeah. Move on. Yeah. I think that's the best thing about Scilly.
Scilly in a crisis is just amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
You see it all the time, unfortunately, because bad things happen, but it's not always to you, but you see it, you might not be part of it, but you see, because there's communities within the community, isn't there? So, and you just see people just pulling together to help whoever it is. I just think it's brilliant.
Yeah. It's pretty special.
Yeah, I think it's the best thing about Scilly, really. Or one of the best things.
Yeah.
Hopefully you enjoyed that episode. If you did, you can always like and subscribe.
Or you can, in fact, follow us on social media. We are on both Instagram and Facebook. That's Scilly Stories Podcast. We are loving recording these, aren't we?
We are. We've also noticed that some people have given us
some reviews on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. So really big thank you to those of you who've done that. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, hopefully we'll be doing more.